I'm 32 male, and earlier this month, I found out my wife, 32 female, was having an affair with a man she met overseas during a work trip. It completely broke me. We've been together for 6 years, and I never thought she'd do something like this. When I confronted her, she admitted it and said it was a mistake. She begged for another chance and swore that she'd cut him off. A few days later, it came out that she'd stayed in touch with him after she came home. He called her a few times, but she claimed she never reached out to him. Then I found out that one night, while she was at a friend's house drinking, she called him multiple times. She swore it was a one-time mistake, blamed the alcohol, and promised it would never happen again. It seemed like she was keeping her word. She's been open about her phone, attending therapy, and trying to show me she's committed to rebuilding trust. Then, at 5:30 this morning, her phone rang. I looked at the screen, and it was a restricted number. She didn't answer, but something about it didn't sit right with me. I checked the time in his country, and it made sense. It would have been the middle of the day there. I know I wouldn't be able to confirm whether or not it's him, but it doesn't matter. I realized at that time that I was indifferent to the prospect of her and AP being in contact. I no longer care. I've contacted a divorce lawyer without telling her. It won't be an easy divorce since our finances are partly joined, but I know this marriage cannot continue. Trust is gone. It's been chipped away, piece by piece, with every lie and every broken promise. And now, all I see is a void. I haven't confronted her about the restricted call this morning because, honestly, I don't think it matters anymore. Whether it was him or not doesn't change the reality of what she's done and how it's affected me. Even if she's not still in contact with him, the damage is already done. The hardest part of this process is the realization that the person I trusted the most isn't the person I thought they were. I know I need to tell her eventually, but for now, I'm focusing on preparing myself. I've started gathering documents, understanding my financial position, and also putting together documents that are proofs of her affair. I've been informed that they probably won't have a big effect on the final outcome, though. I'm kind of dreading the confrontation. I don't want it to be a screaming match or a fight. I just want it to be over. I feel like I'm right back to D-Day, questioning everything she's told me and everything we've worked on. Why would she risk this? Why would she throw away everything we've built together for a man she met a few times? Update. 2 months ago, I found out my soon-to-be ex, 32 female, had been having an affair with a man she met overseas during a work trip. We'd been together for 6 years at that point, married for 3, and I never thought she'd betray me like this. She admitted it when I confronted her, begged for forgiveness, and swore she'd cut him off. But it wasn't the truth. A few days later, I found out she stayed in touch with him, so I filed for divorce. At first, she tried to convince me not to proceed with the divorce, but when I proceeded anyway, she moved out and started preparing plans to fly AP into the country. Then came Sunday, and I found her at my door. She told me she was ashamed, deeply sorry, and that she'd cut off her AP for good this time. She begged me not to divorce, saying she made a mistake and wants our marriage to work. She said she hadn't talked to me for weeks because I'd been impossible to deal with, and blamed me for being so angry. She said she wasn't thinking clearly. She didn't mean to have an affair. She's not perfect. And of course, that I haven't been the perfect husband either. Now she's trying to move back in the house. She's constantly texting me and trying to get me to hang out with her, talking about me helping her to move in. But I'm leaving her on red. That pisses her off. She says, "How can I make things better if you stonewall me at every turn?" I've told her that I, in fact, don't want her to make anything better because by next month, our divorce will be finalized. I'm angry. I think I'm entitled to feel that way. She keeps making it about me not cooperating when all I'm trying to do is process the fact that everything I ever had is in jeopardy now. I'm not sure how much more I can take. For now, I'm trying to survive this. I let her talk, but all she wants is for me to pretend like none of this happened. She doesn't want to face the damage she's caused. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in a career I never wanted because I thought I was doing it for us. For her. I just want this to be over. I want to move on so bad. Story 2. I believe my ex, 24 female, started a smear campaign against me, 29 male. The last few days, I've been wondering about a few events that have happened. My ex-girlfriend and I dated for almost 3 years, and I broke up with her a year ago because she was emotionally cheating on me with another man. 25, male. I broke up with her in a text and blocked her in every way possible. I went totally dark. The events leading up to this were complicated, but 1 year later, I do not regret my decision, reinforced in light of recent events. Before we split, she was involved with a local New Age church and was a party animal. I grew tired of her poor behavior. Example, drunk driving, giving other men her number to save them at church, occasional rage episodes, absolutely no financial responsibility, extreme jealousy, extreme need to control, pushing beliefs on others, saying my family was going to hell for not believing in God, attempting to isolate me from friends, running out of movie theaters saying she's possessed, faith healing, speaking in tongues, putting oils on my new house to cast out demons. It was a case of staying in it way longer than I should have. I attempted to get her professional help, but she didn't think that was okay. I was looking for a way to kindly break things off after she told me vaccines cause autism and refused to seek counseling for what I think was some pretty serious issues. I believe she suffered from BPD, so I began becoming busy with work, friends, and family. I told my friends and family that I was going to leave, and they were very supportive. I believe she sensed my absence was growing and reached out to the next available dude and started messaging him and telling me about him to try to make me jealous. So I took the opportunity and left. Well, other than the day I left and a few messages from her friends after I left, I don't keep in contact with any mutual friends we had as they aligned with her lifestyle of church and drugs. It's been totally silent until Sunday last week. I ran into her at the beach with the same dude she was having the affair with when I left her. I was with friends and was far enough away to where I didn't need to say hello. I just ignored her. The next thing I know, she's covering up her body and ran to the parking lot. Left her guy, and then she demanded they leave. She'd gained quite a bit of weight, but I would never say anything to her about it. Not a big event, right? Well, yesterday I went out to eat with my dad, and I was approached by a friend of hers, and he began calling me a piece of shit, and that I need to man up and fight him for all the terrible things I did to my ex. He began saying how they know I abused her and tried to control her. I told the guy to go away or I was going to phone the police. He goes to her church and was always trying to snake his way in between my ex and I when I wasn't around. My dad, a retired cop, then looked at the guy, got in his face and told him that he needed to quit being a white knight simp and go home. The dude left after he explained that he was a police officer, retired. Honestly, it made me real mad, but now I'm just wondering why the hell someone would say things like that about me. What are the options here? Should I just roll it off my shoulders? Edit. It sucks, but it's really good that I cut these people off. They all love to praise Jesus and snort coke, so whatever. I just couldn't believe the nerve of that guy at the restaurant. I went a year without seeing her, and even when I did, I just went about my business. I sure as heck was not going to run away. I still have no clue why she did that, but the fact that these people knew me for over 2 years and knew I'm a good guy speak to the depth of her manipulation. Fuck them. It sounds like your ex is projecting her unresolved issues onto you and trying to rewrite the narrative to make herself look like the victim. People with unstable behavior often lash out when they feel embarrassed or exposed, which would explain her reaction at the beach and then the sudden smear campaign. Honestly, you dodged a bullet by ending things when you did. Her pattern of behavior before the breakup and her actions now reinforce that she hasn't changed and likely won't anytime soon. As frustrating as it is, your best option here is to stay above the drama. Engaging with her or anyone in her circle will only feed into the chaos she's trying to create. Document everything just in case things escalate. Keep a record of incidents like the one at the restaurant and any attempts she or her friends make to contact or harass you. If it gets worse, you may need to consider a restraining order or consult a lawyer for advice. For now, try to roll it off your shoulders. You've already moved on with your life, and it's clear that she's still stuck in the past. Let her stay there. The people who matter, your friends, family, and anyone you date in the future, will see through her nonsense. Focus on yourself and keep doing what you're doing. You're already winning by not being part of that mess anymore. Now some comments. You let it roll off your shoulders and don't let her affect your life. She can say what she wants to whoever she wants. People who really know you will stick up for you, and those are the people you want around. Don't get involved in this at all. She's disgusting, disloyal, and thirsty for constant male attention. That's why she's still whining and lying about you long after you've left her life. You just move on and keep away from these crazies. I've been in a similar position, although in my case, the ex's family had a history of mental illness and it was a long-distance situation, so my personal life where I live wasn't affected. The fact that she's physically close enough for this to affect your daily life is a problem. But look at it this way, people you know won't believe this shit. If they do, even if your ex is very believable and great at manipulation, they're not your friends. Tell everyone you know and trust that something like this is going on and ask them to tell you if anything reaches them, just so you know what the terrible things are you allegedly did. After that, fuck it. Console yourself with the knowledge that people who trust you won't believe her lies.